Hello and welcome to today's TOC podcast. I'm Joe Weichert, co-chair of O'Reilly's Tools of Change conference. As always, I encourage you to visit the official conference site, toccon.com, to keep up on the latest webcasts, podcasts, and upcoming TOC events. Speaking of which, we're now only about a month away from TOC Frankfurt. Don't forget that this year features not only the full-day TOC event on Tuesday, October 11th, but also a half-day social media workshop on Thursday the 13th. For more information or to register, visit tocfrankfurt.com. For today's podcast, I'm joined by John Feldman, founder, president, and CEO of Open Air Publishing. Open Air Publishing is the company that brought us one of the more innovative additions to the App Store. It's a mixology product called Speakeasy Cocktails. John, welcome to this TOC podcast.
Hi, Joe. Welcome.
So, John, can you tell us a bit about the content development process for Speakeasy Cocktails? I'm figuring you didn't approach this like a traditional book, so I'd love to hear, how the project got off the ground, how the content was constructed, and so forth.
Sure. When I started using the iPad, I immediately realized there was an opportunity to create a better way for people to learn. I think everyone has skills they want to learn: how to cook, play poker, order wine, play the guitar, train their dog, take better photos. And there's a large existing market trying to address the problem: books, DVDs, online videos, and live classes. But we found these are all lacking in one way or another, whether being high cost, low quality, or inconvenient. So my friends and I found we were making the same New Year's resolutions every year and never really fulfilling them. And there had to be a better way for people to learn. So we realized early on, to be successful here, we have to make up our own approach to content development. Our content is all original: the writing, the videos, and the photography, and all made from the ground up with the tablet in mind. And what that means is that each component is thought of as to how it should best exist for the unique ebook experience. This is not a pre-existing book where we toss in some photos and video. We want to create a seamless experience where every feature represented the best possible way to teach that skill or piece of knowledge.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so I noticed that the app has been featured on the new and noteworthy section in the App Store. Has that placement had a significant impact on sales?
Yeah, so placement in new and noteworthy, as well as what's hot sections, has been great for sales. All the positive attention from the mainstream media has been great as well, and we see nice bumps in traffic to our website and in sales when each of these new articles runs. But being prominently featured within the App Store is the most direct way to reach the most important demographic to us, which is iPad owners. It's like being in the window or at the front table of the Barnes & Noble store.
Yeah, and I've also noticed that the customer reviews are just overwhelmingly positive. And just kind of curious now, since this is such a different beast, if you will, what sort of research or customer feedback loop did you include in the product development? And did you have any mock-ups or early versions that you kind of shared with the target audience?
Yeah, so early in the process, we recruited a group of beta testers, mostly friends and family, to use the book and give us a lot of feedback. We really took the input to heart and made revisions and corrections. It was a really important part of the process. For instance, we changed a pretty significant navigation element because our testers found the early version to be a little bit confusing. And we also had beta testers field test the recipes and refined some of the instructions as needed to make them more clear to the home user. It took time, but it was worth it because their feedback gave us this great brand new perspective. And whereas with a website you can launch and iterate, in the App Store your first ratings will really affect your overall exposure. So if you launch with faults, it can be hard to recover.
So, it's funny, in an interesting conversation I had with your colleague Allison Go, we discovered that we're both fans of Clayton Christensen's The Innovator's Dilemma and other books he's done as follow-ups. And it sounds like that's sort of fundamental to how you guys are operating within Open Air Publishing. How have you found his thinking applies to what you've done so far?
Yeah, we certainly believe we can disrupt the entrenched players. I'm a big fan as well, and we see the big six publishing houses still haven't embraced full-on multimedia books. They're making books for paper and pushing out flat electronic versions just as an afterthought to capture the channel without building for it. If you just look at the iPad versions of the For Dummies books, it's like the first TV shows in the 1940s where they were just radio shows where you could see the host talking into the microphone. And then Milton Berle came along and he understood that the new platform meant a new way of making content. So in the marketing and distribution side, as the digital book devices reach consumer critical mass, we think we'll have a core competency expertise in this channel that these companies right now just see as incremental. And on the operational side, we've already had leading authors from the hardcover paperback world approach us because of their frustration with the lead time. It takes 18 months or more to cycle through a book to get it to the shelf in the traditional world, whereas we can get a book out for them in 12 weeks. So I think as this is a niche that is currently unexciting to the established players when they look at the current economics, we'll have carved out an expertise and operational capabilities that are tailored to this space, and we'll see a classic innovator's dilemma play out as consumers shift into this world.
Yeah, you just used one of my favorite analogies. I've said to many people that I feel like where we are in the world of ebooks is similar to what early television looked like. And you're right. I always like to say those early shows were nothing more than the radio program in front of the camera. And what you guys are doing are really helping us take a huge leap forward.
That is how we think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Speakeasy Cocktails, obviously it was designed with the tablet interface in mind, and the product offers an extremely rich user interface that's easy to dip in and out of. The big question I always have when I see something radically different like this is, how scalable is it? So, every time a publisher goes to create something like this, is it like you're reinventing the wheel, or is there some scalability involved where you've learned so much from the prior ones that you're able to apply it to the next ones?
Yeah, so creating these books is a complicated process. If it were easy, I think everyone would already be doing it. I previously worked at MTV Networks and College Humor, so I've seen both large and small content creation environments, how to scale up production and consumer product marketing. At Open Air Publishing, with every book we make, we'll get smarter and more efficient at it. Again, I think there's some innovator's dilemma at play. We'll be learning from user analytics how to improve the final product, and we'll achieve cross-marketing to carry users from one product to the next. So it's not just selling a new book each time, it's really gaining a user with a lifetime value. And as the team grows, we'll establish operational templates and product release cadence. So I think we'll have it run quite nicely at scale.
Okay, cool. So I also noticed that, and this was just kind of accidental, that instead of being in the books category, it's in the lifestyle category. And I couldn't help but think that, was that a deliberate decision to separate yourself from some of the those ebooks that basically are just radio shows in front of a camera?
Yeah, I mean, I should say, first of all, the reason we're in the App Store and not in the iBook Store or the Kindle bookstore is that they don't yet offer the technology that we use to make the interactives aren't even available on those platforms yet. So we were forced to be an app by necessity. Deciding which category to be in, there was a couple of factors that led to us being in lifestyle. First off, we thought to ourselves, where would our audience be looking for us in the App Store? We realized that if you're a foodie looking for something cool and new, you'd be looking in the lifestyle section, because that's where Oprah, Martha Stewart, Jamie Oliver, apps all are. So we thought categorizing ourselves by topic was more relevant than the books part of it. Second, it was a bit of a numbers game. The books category is extremely crowded with hundreds of books, and a huge percentage of those are children's and comic books. So whereas in lifestyle there were fewer apps, but also they tended to be for grown-ups, which is our market. As the App Store grows and Amazon enters the interactive tablet space now, I think we'll see Apple get better at subcategorizing books, and we'll see how-to titles for adults won't be competing with kids and comic books, and then it might make more sense to be in the books category.
Gotcha. So let's shift for a minute and talk about pricing.
Sure.
Speakeasy Cocktails, it's a $9.99 product, and it's a wash in a sea of 99-cent and free alternatives. But I saw it was as recently as high as number 3 on the lifestyle paid apps list. So obviously you're doing pretty well. But it's interesting to note that the next highest priced app in the top 10 was only $3.99. So how do you compete so well on a platform that surrounds you with so many cheap or free alternatives?
Sure. Well, again, so we are a book that happens to be in the App Store by necessity. I think also some of the free titles, when you download a free cooking app, often you pay for the recipes within them. So there's different pricing strategies going on. I am happy to report that we reached number 1 on the lifestyle top grossing list. So we beat Oprah and Martha for some time. But based on the price of ebooks you see in iBooks and on the Kindle, which is who we're comparing ourselves to, we know that people are willing to pay $9.99 for what they perceive to be a book. So what we were up against is the fact that the average person doesn't know who we are, since we don't have the branding of Martha or Oprah, and that our book is so innovative, it's hard for some of our potential customers to even conceive of what the value is that they're getting. So to overcome those two obstacles, we spent a lot of time thinking about communicating our message. We made a great promo video that's on our website and that we link to from the App Store to show the app so people can really see what's in it. And then we sought press coverage from reputable publications. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and many others have covered us. So we wanted to build this Oprah-like credibility with name recognition and rave reviews so that people would understand that this is a great value for a book with 90 minutes of video plus a book, all at $10, not merely some 99-cent cheap iPhone app with repurposed content in it.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, just to play devil's advocate for a second here, you've had so much success at $10. Have you ever wondered whether you'd have just as much success at $15 or $20?
Yeah, we've wondered it. We did a lot of sort of preliminary research, talking to others who have launched apps, and a lot of it's anecdotal. It's hard to have specific demand curves out of the App Store, given the lack of data from it. But it seemed like $9.99 really was the correct price. If you go a bit lower, it sounds like you don't gain any volume, and you're just losing cash on the transaction. And if you go $1 higher, or even if you go from $9.99 to $10, you lose far more customers than you gain, and in the revenue. And similar for a book that's intended to have broad appeal, we thought $9.99 was priced high enough to signal how much content was in the book and its quality, but not so high as to be inaccessible. So $14.99 or $19.99 didn't seem plausible to price that high for this, but I suppose with future books of different topics, we would consider pricing at both lower and higher price points to experiment.
Okay, makes sense. Well, John, thanks very much. Again, John Feldman from Open Air Publishing. Appreciate you participating in this TOC podcast.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Thank you.